Welcome to another episode of Know Your Neighbor from Park Speaks. Today, our guest is Architect Nilanjan Bhowal, and we'll be primarily talking about architecture and sustainability. So, in the realm of modern architecture, where innovation and tradition intersect, Nilanjan Bhowal emerges as a beacon of sustainable design. As the founder and principal architect of Design Consortium, Nilanjan Bhowal has reimagined architecture to be more than just visually appealing. A harmonious blend of art, sustainability, functionality, and environmental consciousness. I am Anindita, and my friend here Jaya. We will take you through this episode. Yes, Jaya.
Thank you so much, Anindita. So welcome back, viewers, and this is a very interesting episode today. We are going to be talking to Architect Nilanjan Bhowal on the present and future of sustainable architecture and design, how that can really impact our lives or how we can impact nature with our designs and architecture. So welcome, Nilanjan.
Thank you.
Great to have you on our show today.
Wonderful to be with you.
Thank you so much. So we've been actually watching you from our childhood, and you've done some wonderful work in CR Park as well as, of course, boards of projects outside of CR Park. So we wanted to understand from you. You've been working with the sustainability concept for a very long time, and you've had a lot of projects to your credit. So how do you see the present and future of sustainability in design and architecture, let's say from a very layman's perspective?
See, I personally feel that sustainability should be a way of life.
Sure.
And we Indians especially have grown over the centuries living sustainably.
Yes.
And we've built also. What people build in the villages is still sustainable.
True.
It is just that in the city, the way we have changed our lifestyles, that we have forgotten all the learnings of our forefathers. Because now that's why we are facing all the problems, that you see, environmental problems, pollution. You have floods in the city every time. There's an energy crisis. There's a water crisis. These are all human generated.
Yeah, sure.
50 years back, even when I was a child, I grew up in Delhi. Water and things were never a problem.
Sure.
And it has all been created by this modus of development that we have chosen. And so I firmly believe that sustainability, if everyone embraces it, this earth has so much to give, Mother Nature has so much to give us. If we respect and live in harmony with nature, we will all be happy, and there is enough for everyone to go around.
Absolutely. So what are the aspects that you typically keep in mind when somebody who's a layman who just approaches you and tells you that we want to build a sustainable home where we want to recycle the marvels of nature, and we want to use construction material which are recyclable. So what are the things that you typically keep in mind when you get such kind of requests from clients?
So when we have clients who come with a request, we are very happy because they are sensitive, they already know about the domain. But my endeavor has been that every client who walks into us, we have to sensitize them.
Right.
There is no one who is against sustainability, it's just that in our practices, we don't follow them. So every client and every single project that we have designed is sustainable, because that is the only way to build, I feel. Having said that, when clients come to us that they want a purely green home or something that is sustainable, they want to give back to the future generations, then we run through that entire gamut of experiences that we can offer. Bringing in nature, which means also a lot of natural light so that they don't have to use artificial lighting. We insulate the building in such a way that there is hardly any energy consumption. So it's all, we don't even need air conditioning. In fortunately the place where you are sitting, we do with zero air conditioning, because there's enough light. You can see this is a basement, but I get enough light.
So the concept of daylighting comes in.
Yes, very important, because the more of daylight that you use, you reduce the energy consumption. Similarly, air conditioning load, if we can half it, or some project even to the extent of 1/4, then of course there is saving of energy. Then using replenishable resources. So we use a lot of natural materials in our project. Fly ash bricks, which is an industrial waste. We use sand lime bricks, and because the normal bricks are made of clay, and that uses up a lot of fertile soil.
Fertile soil.
So we avoid using
And
that.
also use a lot of combustion, like energy to create
Yes.
those.
Similarly,
So are fly ash bricks do
yes,
they insulate?
yes, they are good insulators. There is something called autoclaved aerated concrete, which is called AAC blocks.
Mhm.
They are hollow in between, so they are more porous.
Yes.
So the air insulates. So that is something we use, and there are so many technologies we use. Double glazing that insulates. Then we recycle all the waste that is generated from the house.
Oh.
So all the water is recycled,
Mhm.
all the organic waste from the kitchen is recycled, which is used as manure and compost. All the grey water is treated, which is used for washing cars and other things.
And
we,
all that is visible in a colony like CR Park and
yes,
surroundings?
very much. In fact, in CR Park, some of the RWAs are very conscious with I block especially.
Mhm.
We have a rainwater harvesting system. We created rainwater harvesting tanks. Sometimes they are not in use very much because they get blocked, one
Yeah.
needs to service them.
Not
But
that is a problem.
you see the amount of surface runoff of water that
Yeah.
is there. If we just capture all that, it can be used during the summer months.
Yeah.
So most of the housing societies, for example, they are huge guzzlers of energy as well as water.
Yeah.
But the kitchen waste or the bathroom waste, nowadays all that water is being recycled. In all the housing societies now we are retrofitting. But if you are designing from scratch, there is innumerable possibilities. Water flushing, for example, we don't recommend rain showers.
Yeah.
You can reduce the consumption. Even flushing,
Mhm.
now the modern flushing that we use, that uses only 4 or 5 liters of water
Oh.
against a normal earlier big system which
Yes.
used about 10 liters of water.
Mm.
Another innovative, a very simple jugaad system we do is, because you see the cistern that is there in the old systems, sometimes people want to use their old cisterns or old fixture, and that cistern consumes about 10 to 12 liters of water.
Okay.
What we do is we just in that we put in empty, let's say Bisleri bottles,
Okay.
or even if you put in a brick,
Mhm.
anything that consumes
Okay.
volume.
Yeah.
Oh.
So you just open the lid of the cistern, put in these things that occupies space, because the moment the water is filled up, the balance area will be filled with
Hmm.
water. The flush
It
will
will
still
flush,
work,
yeah.
but it
Yeah.
will use half
That's
the
all.
amount of water.
Oh, I see.
Similarly, you get small contraption like a net which you install on a tap that reduces the flow automatically.
Yes, yes.
Because these days, when we are not using, we may be conscious, but our maid servants,
Yes.
drivers are not.
Right.
They just open the tap fully.
Yes.
So that regulates the flow. There are small measures like this.
Yes.
The kitchen waste, for example, is a huge resource.
Mm.
Now we have these pots in one of the houses. It's called Green One in CR Park
Yeah,
8 block.
Yeah.
That was India's first pilot project.
Wow.
We did it in collaboration with Terry. And it has got several awards because it's a house that gives back more than it consumes. It's a net zero building. And there we have kept these 7 pots
Okay.
for each day of the week. So the Monday's waste from the kitchen goes into that, and there's a biochemical substance in it. And then Tuesday's waste goes into the Tuesday pot, and you keep putting, and they're placed one on top of the other. Those
Okay,
are covered
the,
pots.
chemicals.
There's a biochemical waste,
Okay.
and these are covered pots.
Covered.
They're one on top of the other.
Hmm.
So by the next Monday, you take out the Monday wala plot, which you
Okay.
put 1 week back. That's already converted into manure.
Manure.
And on Tuesday, you can use the Tuesday pot. So every week we are generating manure like that.
So, how easy or how difficult it is to maintain such infrastructure? Nilanjan?
It's
That
very
is-
simple.
that's
Very simple. These days,
question.
the initial investment sometimes is a little more. For example, if you want to install solar panels, now all our projects, 100%, every project of ours has solar panels.
Yeah.
My own house has the solar panel, so I'm generating about 7-8 kilowatts of energy, which is enough. In the normal periods, I get a bill of 1,000 or 1,500 rupees. It's only peak summers that the consumption is slightly higher. So solar is the only investment, or we use solar geyser. Double glazing is expensive. So if you put in all the sustainable measures, the cost may be 10% more than conventional house. For example, if your budget is 1 crore for a house, this might cost you 1 crore 10 lakhs or 1 crore 15 lakhs. But that pays back in about 4-5 years.
Right.
Because in terms of the saving on
Yeah.
electricity,
Yeah.
water,
Water.
power, everything.
Yeah.
And it's also, after that it starts, creating money for you.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea.
And you mentioned that you are recycling the grey water and the rainwater. Rainwater, of course, goes into the harvesting pit. How do you recycle the grey water and
So the
use
grey
it?
water, right? It's a good question. See, there are two kinds of grey water. One comes out of the kitchen and one comes out from the washroom. So from the washroom, the soil, the WC water goes separately. Now the grey water, what we call, is the one that comes from the bathroom and the kitchens. For the kitchens, we have something at the, there are traps. You would have seen it in the bottom of the house. And the gully trap, it's called technically. In that we have something called a grease trap.
Okay.
So that traps the grease, that isolates the grease from the water. So it separates the grease and lets the water pass. And then the water is collected in a tank along with the bathroom water. And then we pass it through something called, there are different ways. There, one system is called a dewatch. It's called a dewatering system. One is called a phytorate bed. Basically, you make that water through gravity. It passes through several compartments. One removes the solid waste a little bit, mineral waste. So you have gravel. It passes through fine gravel. Then it passes through sand, and then it passes through. There are certain plants with their roots. It kind of aerates the water. So it passes through that, and by the time the water passes out of that phytorate bed, it's called, or a watering system, it is clean. It's not potable. You can't drink it, but it's absolutely clean. The soap is removed, the dirt is removed. You can use it for washing cars, washing clothes, for
Washing
cleaning
clothes
your
also.
driveway.
So
Yes,
how do
yes.
you collect that
Flushing.
water?
So
And
that's
where do you
then
collect it?
filtered and goes back into the underground tank. There's a separate tank that is created for it.
Okay.
So there's a normal water tank, and there's usually this water goes into a separate tank.
And then you have a pipe.
Then you can
and-
have a pump. You can put it on your terrace. You can pump it to your terrace, or you can have a small pump and use it for watering the plants and the trees. If you put this in one house where there was no place in the still, because people park their cars in the still now, so we put this phytorate bed on the terrace. So this whole tank is there, and the water goes through it, and then through gravity it is used by all the floors.
It will come down
Yeah, it will come down
on
and you
your
use
taps
it.
and all.
Taps, yeah.
But is it good for washing clothes also?
Yeah.
So you can rotate
clean.
into your washing machine also if
You
need
can,
be.
yes, washing machine, or even for taps for washing, and for washing cars, for utensils, for
Utensils also you
yes,
can
yes,
wash.
it's clean water.
Clean
It's
water.
treated. It does not
Naturally.
go through the cleaning process for drinking, but it removes
Good
all the
for-
suspended particles and waste.
So which means that for the utensils it is absolutely safe to use that water.
Yeah,
And then you are further using the utensils, so
yeah.
there is no sedimentation or
No, nothing. The organic waste from the WCs that
Yeah,
goes through something called a septic tank.
Yeah.
For that you need something called a STP, sewage treatment plant. That is slightly complicated. When we make bigger farmhouses, when we do resorts, townships, there we use that because you need a larger space to treat the organic waste. The kitchen waste and the bathroom, the soap water that comes out, that can be recycled very easily at home.
And what about the washing machine water
That also can be treated. It's only the soap that needs to be removed from that. So through that filtering process, the water comes out sparkling clean. I can show you videos where we are using it. Through the plants and gravel, you get absolutely clean water.
So that same process you
Yeah.
also route the washing machine water
Yes.
and you can use that as well.
Yes.
And that is functional like in today's urban setting, like in a
Absolutely.
typical house we can have
Absolutely.
that.
It does not require too much space.
Wow, amazing.
That we've been using in a lot of projects in CR Park, in my own house, in several projects.
So how much are people using this fly ash brick?
See, fly ash brick, the only problem with the brick is that fly ash is an industrial waste.
Yeah.
It comes out from the thermal power plants. And these thermal power plants are not close to the city. The one in Badapur is also close, and the Indraprastha is close. So they are usually located quite far from the cities and usually close to a river source because they need the water and all that. So that fly ash bricks are usually produced a little far from Delhi. So you'll have to really get them. So acquisition is still a little problem, but they are available and they are very good because they become very hard. They are as strong as a normal brick.
And
It's grey in color. Sometimes we've used it exposed also.
yeah,
Yeah.
it gives a very nice look.
Yeah.
Yeah. And does it really impact the cost of a construction?
No, it's the same cost as
Same
normal
cost.
bricks. Yes.
And right. So how? I mean, so you are giving us a wealth of information, and obviously we are going to translate it into other videos. But how do we, I mean, how does one go about telling people that these solutions are there, and because this is the need of the hour, especially when it comes to water, when it comes to, I mean,
Saving
there's
energy,
so
light.
much of sun in
For
our country.
example, small things that you can do is we have motion sensors, right? In common areas like driveways, staircases, normally people keep the lights on the whole night.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Yeah.
Or a driveway, or in especially public buildings, hotel lobbies, and every place, common areas. At night they leave the lights on, or
Right.
external landscape. The lights, some guard switches it on at night, he forgets to switch it off. So now we've got the two kinds of sensors. One is the motion sensor, which you use in common areas, corridors, staircases. The moment you enter it, there's a movement that is sensed, and the light switches on. The moment you leave that space, within a few seconds it switches on.
Switch it off.
So it saves, you can imagine, instead of keeping the lights on the whole night, it's only just maybe 10-15
So we
minutes
can
of
put them
lighting.
in our houses also.
Yeah.
Like instead of shouting
Yes,
at us,
I've
children ki
seen
light.
many houses in CR Park,
Yeah.
they are using motion sensor lights.
And you
that
get
will
very
have to-
small
Yes.
these days sensors which can be retrofitted to an existing light. You just fit it on top of a light, it senses the motion, it switches it off.
Yeah.
Then you get the other thing is the photo sensor.
Yeah.
That is used for outdoor lighting. So when we have driveways, landscaping, farmhouses, there those lights they switch on
Okay.
when it is dark, and it switches off the moment there is morning light. Because in the landscaping in public areas they have to keep the lights on. So that also is controlled, and then we substitute it by using a lot of solar lighting.
Yes.
These days you get solar lamps,
Yeah.
solar street lights,
So
bollard
smaller
lights.
solar panels are there available. Like if somebody doesn't want to cover their whole terrace or
Terrace.
something, so something in the window where we can have a smaller panel or something.
So there is something that we have used. It's but still at an early stage right now. You get a film which has solar panels. You can paste it on a window. It does not cut off the light too much, but it acts as a solar trapping mechanism. So it generates electricity. It does not have too much efficiency like a normal solar panel. So like a normal solar panel can generate almost 300 to 350 watts of power, and these ones generate maybe 100 watts. The efficiency is not the same, but you get them in small formats. You get them also these days. You must have seen so many lights, street lights, bollard lights,
Yeah.
small, even torches.
Yeah.
You get solar torches. We use that in the house. You leave it out. You don't need direct sunlight also. It charges in natural light.
We can charge our mobiles also.
Yeah, mobile.
So,
These days,
Like small
calculators.
things.
See, now
Yeah.
it's become a standard. All calculators, the ones which I use also are solar powered. We don't need batteries anymore. Torches are all solar powered.
So going forward, I think what we envisage is a very bright future. I think if you all are little aware about how we can impact the atmosphere and the nature and the environment when we are actually going for a construction, and we just have to be a little mindful about so many things available around us, but we just have to do a little bit of research and reach out to the right people who can actually do the
Right.
job for us. And I think probably just that we have to really decide to give back to nature. I think that's the idea.
And for the future generation.
And for
Yeah.
We
the
have to
future
leave
generation.
a greener planet for our children. I mean, what are we
Absolutely.
leaving them?
What are
Our
we leaving
parents
them with?
left a beautiful world for us.
Absolutely.
See, the basic principle is in sustainability, I call it the 3 R's. You recharge, recycle, and you reuse.
Reuse.
So whatever you can reuse, we reuse wood, we reuse the steel in the house. I have made all these houses, especially the green one, which was India's first green home in Chittaranjan Park. That house, all the wood frames were old wood from old houses that are demolished, and they are sold. There's
Yeah.
a market in Old Delhi where they sell all the old door frames. We bought those, and after removing the paint and you polish it, it's as good as new. And old wood is very
Better, I
good wood,
think, yeah.
teak wood, and we
Yeah.
used it. It was fraction of a cost. You are saving so much of trees, plus we do not use any imported material. That is something we'll have to understand.
Yeah.
I don't encourage this. This whole office has only Indian stone.
Indian stone.
We've not even plastered the walls. The concrete is exposed where it is used. So we can have so much of saving.
Exactly.
And then recycling. If we can use the same thing again and again,
Correct.
because every material goes into a huge energy consumption during its process of manufacturing.
Yes, of course.
If you see this shirt, from the cotton, the yarn, then it goes into a spindle, then a fabric is woven, then someone is printing on it, then a tailor cuts it, someone stitches it, it comes to the shop you're buying. There's a huge amount of energy that has gone into the production of a shirt.
Exactly.
Now if you think back in my childhood, I wore the shirt which my elder brother wore. Who wore the shirt? His elder cousin wore.
Yeah.
So a shirt was used for at least 25-30 years. After me wearing and giving it to someone, my driver was wearing it. And after he wears it also, probably then we use it for mopping and dusting. So Indians have been
They are
living
famous for
sustainably.
it, yeah.
We've been using it. We recycle everything. We recycle newspapers. We make paper packets out of it. Now it is coming back in fashion. कि
It
नहीं
is coming
plastic
back,
को बंद करो, start using
Yeah.
paper packets all over the West. Everyone is this fancy carry bags in paper. We've been always using newspaper packets.
Yeah.
Parents
Yeah,
as good as new.
Yeah.
I mean, remember in our
But why
childhood,
not? Like we can always.
In the house, we still siblings. My daughters have been wearing each other's clothes, and it's given to
Yeah,
the maid's daughter.
Yeah.
Then used for mopping, dusting,
Yeah.
every use.
and I think clothes are the most, they're most, they land up in the landfill. I mean, they're the most
Yeah.
difficult to recycle and the most difficult to compose.
Because
You know,
because of the material also.
Yeah.
Earlier it was cotton. Now there is so much of synthetic material
Yes.
going into clothes.
Yes, yes.
So, and
Because cotton production takes time. It's difficult. See, anything synthetic and artificial can be made easily,
Yeah.
but then it has a repercussion on the environment. This cannot be recycled or reused.
very
Does not
difficult.
decompose easily.
Yeah.
Plastic is a huge
Plastic is a huge
problem for us, and over the
We don't
years
know
we've
this.
started realizing. Even in the Durga Puja, I've been arguing now. Coke is sponsoring the puja of the
Is
discussion, but what we are doing is we have insisted that they install it's a recycling machine
Recycle.
for water. It's a PET bottles. It reuses all the plastic, so there is zero, plastic discharge.
Plastic discharge.
So it's a net zero plastic discharge company now. So they have this machine. We are insisting that they install it during the puja. Otherwise, you will see people
Yeah, all
throwing this
over.
PET bottle.
All
So there will
over.
be zero PET bottles. They say in the puja.
in
Monday,
Monday.
yes.
They are confirmed.
Yes, they are going to provide it.
Great. So I think I remember when we used to press the toothpaste and we used to take the
Yeah.
last part out. I mean, this is all ingrained in the human psyche. I mean, Indian psyche rather, where you are still using the plastic bottle and
Yep.
so I guess
Everything is
I think
recycled.
it's all in the mind and how we really care for our environment and care for nature and want to give back something back to the nature and of course leave a better world for our children, like you very rightly said.
Because you see, buildings, people don't realize that they contribute to about almost 70% of the energy consumption. Buildings, because of light, air conditioning, and even the production, the amount of steel, concrete that goes into it, it is the biggest energy consumption. And if we can reduce that through a very sensitive kind of designing and sustainable planning, it will create a huge impact over the years.
Very true, very true. Thank you so much, Nilanjan. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I'm sure our viewers will take a lot of dope from our discussion today. I, for one, I'm really going all out to. We both are going all out to promote sustainability in our colony. We've met a lot of interesting people who have been working towards the betterment of our colony, towards waste management, a lot of other aspects that will make our colony a better place. And today with your discussion, it's been a sort of a crowning glory where we can build better homes, we can build more sustainable homes. So viewers, please do get in touch with Nilanjan Bhowal for any sort of consultation when it comes to building a house or even maybe modifying a house. I'm sure there are a whole lot of opportunities where we can use our limited resources. We don't need to have a huge bank balance to be able to do that. Like he very rightly said that, you know, small measures can go a long way. So even if you install a rain tap in your kitchen, you will save a lot of water. So it's all in the mind. So thank you viewers for watching our video. I'm sure you enjoyed as much as we did talking to Nilanjan Bhowal. We'll see you in our next one.